Hello everyone and welcome to Daily Game Review number 29. Today we have the 13Ghost 14Q versus RDiaz 10Q. And we'll see how this goes. There's quite a rank gap here, but we'll see how well the 13Ghost handles the rank difference and see if he can still beat White. So alright, here we got a position started. And now we can see Black's approaching here. I think an approach here is a little bit better since it actually has support from the C16 stone. When you approach like this with support, it actually helps develop a position for you on the left. If you approach on the bottom right, you can see it's stopping White's position on the bottom side. However, it is not developing a position for yourself. So I think the left side is a little bit more valuable than the bottom. However, this move is not a bad move, so we'll see how they play it up. And we see interesting Joseki here. And White playing this shape, normally if you wanted to block it, it would be here and then something like this. So because of this, Black may choose a 3-space extension, so when White blocks, he has a 2 jumps 3. And that's also possible. You may even sometimes see an attach, but perhaps Black doesn't like the attach in this case, and so Black wanted to jump back. And normally you can do that like so. However, he chose to play here, and White chose to play here. This shape will be a little weird for White, and Black can simply block and Tanuki, which is perfectly reasonable. You also want to get a move down here as well when you get the chance, because actually, I may even consider doing this immediately. Because if White gets a stone around here, your group does look a little weak. So maybe it is worth defending immediately, or because if White chooses a Joseki like so and then attacks like this, you can see White is actually making a nice combination on the bottom side. However, you did get the left side, so it's a little interesting to see what who the trade is good for. But if we start playing it out something along these lines, you can see White's getting a little bit more than Black's getting, so perhaps it is worth it for Black to just extend like so, because now if White plays here, Black can actually play on the top side like so. And in this case, both players got an even exchange, but White will not get an easy extension for free. I think this might be a little bit better than this result here. So anyway, but it's a little thing. It's a little thing. Just know that you probably want to defend your weak groups. But White playing this move. This move's not a good move, since White will actually start getting surrounded in this area. White did it over here as well, but it's not really a good Joseki choice. I think he doesn't study Joseki. I think he came up with this on his own. So Black plays here, then Black, and Black played here in the game. This is not right. You want to go ahead and extend one more. Even if White pincers, you can actually get the surround on White in the corner, which is quite nice for you to get. And you can see here, White is actually getting surrounded in the corner quite nicely. Black could even think to pincer first and then extend here. So this stone's now unsettled. White is sealed in the corner, and Black is doing really good for destroying White's position in this area. Remember, guys, this was White's area, not Black's. And so I think Black is controlling the game if he plays this way. So I think White will still owe a move to extend here, and then Black can extend back probably somewhere over here. In order to build a position on the left. And you can see White's position is a little low compared to Black's, so I don't really like this variation for White. However, Black chose to play this. This will give White the Hane headed 2 and the double Hane against Black, and then White can extend here. And so you can see this position is quite different now since Black did not extend at D5. So D5 is definitely the vital point of this position, so I think it's good for both players to get it. However, White choosing Tanuki now and getting to the top side. It's the next big move. White is trying to play quickly, but you can see actually while White is trying to play quickly and be everywhere and playing his own little Joseki, he has no combinations. The combinations here for White are actually non-existent because White only has a corner in this area and only a corner in this area. Now White is getting up here, and we can see White is going to play another common Joseki. Normally this is the Joseki like so, and this would be fine for Black to play, and White, so, well, maybe not for White. I think there's a better Joseki for White. However, if White chooses to play this way, Black should take the Tiger's Mouth point here. The Tiger's Mouth point is actually normally a good point for both players to get. And we can see that white is actually dying on the inside now, and so white must escape with some variation here, and black will make a lot of outside influence and territory while white is struggling to live on the inside. Black could also choose that after white goes here just to extend with a normal extension, or perhaps he wants to threaten to surround white, so he can go here and then maybe another jump. You can see black's gaining territory while white's getting nothing but getting out. So you can see this is a little bit better for black if black plays this way. So for white, I think you could choose a different Joseki, and this one's a little complicated, but it works in some situations. So white could actually choose this one and then jump back. This is an easier variation. And if black defends the corner, you can see black gets the corner on the top side and white gets the right side, and now white can go up and approach up here. White still probably wants to get this exchange and then approach, or maybe an approach and then come out and do this exchange and then come back and finish. And you can see that white is getting a small group, or getting a group inside of black's area, so black doesn't get everything. And black's a little bit ahead on this board since this lower left corner does not look good, and black can actually attack here. So hard to say. I think black's a little bit ahead, even if white gets a combination on the right side. However, white can choose to do this. White could also choose this variation. And then go here to make the position a little bit bigger, but black's corner will also be a little bit bigger. And make this trade. So the idea here is to choose a Joseki that makes a combination and develops an area. If you just choose a Joseki just because it's Joseki, it's not good enough, because your opponent will be able to make combinations and you do not. So if you don't have any combinations, then you're not building in any positions. So you can see here white is finally getting extension on the right side and bringing his fourth line down to the third line, which is pretty good. However, black will get to this move, which he does not, to surround the white group in the corner, and white will be getting a little sealed in. And so when white tries to live, black can seal, white lives, and then black can get to up here, and you can see black is developing much more quickly than white. So black actually Tanuki can play up here, and white trying to evade since black played the large knights. However, an immediate invasion is not recommended. This is kind of like invading the 3-3 to the start point immediately. It's not good because the influence is going to be better for your opponent. And black's actually going to take the corner and attack this group pretty severely here. The shape here is usually either here or here. If we go here, there will be some weakness in this area. However, it should be okay. Even if this gets out sometime, black can actually live inside. So the cut isn't too worrisome, so I would go ahead and play here. And when white plays here, just go ahead and extend out, and you can see white is struggling to survive. And black will get a lot of influence on the outside while white is struggling on the inside. So white trying too hard to punish this. You can't really... It's hard to punish stuff directly. Normally you want to punish it in a roundabout way, meaning you want to threaten to do this move. So if you think this move's the punishment, then try and threaten to do it. So maybe you can get a stone around here and then threaten to jump in and try and make a combination with something like this. Or if black goes here, you can try and make a combination like so. And then if black chooses to defend, then you can use after black defends, you can use this to attack this stone. However, your group is weak. So anyway, that's the idea. That's the general idea. You usually don't want to attack weakness directly because your opponent can sometimes just give up something and get more than you. And but if you can attack weakness from a roundabout way, that's usually a little bit better. But anyway, the weakness here is not that big. There is some weakness. That's why normally you see E17 over F17, but it's not so huge that you can do something immediately. Because I've seen even professional players play this move. This move is not that bad. It just has some weakness. If you can deal with the weakness, then you're fine, and it develops much more quickly. So it's not bad. Personally, I prefer this move. However, I have seen professional players play this move as well, but they can deal with the Aji and read it. So the opponent has to, if they want to take advantage of something, they need to do it in a smart way. Otherwise, black will just get a big corner. I think if white gets just something like this, this is good enough. And maybe that's not good. Maybe here. And this may be good enough. So perhaps white jumps one more, and I can play something like this, and white can destroy this area and then maybe invade later, and it might be possible. However, you don't need to do something so immediately and directly. And white, you're still not making any combinations. Still not really making any combinations. But black playing this way, trying to surround white, so it's still okay. And black will still get his profit. Try not to push the diagonal, guys. The diagonal's not the way to go. Keep surrounding white and force white to force you to make points on the fourth line. So every time you jump here, you make points on the fourth line, which is really valuable, and white is getting nothing but a dragon, which is pointless. So I think pushing white this way to force you to get some points is quite valuable, and also you're developing a position on top. So as soon as white comes out with something like this, you can actually come back and defend your position on top, or you can actually come here and attack this position pretty severely, and you can see the top side is looking really nice for black. So make sure you want to look at where your profit is. You're not trying to kill. You're not trying to kill. Look at where your profit is. 1 point jump would be a little bit more solid here. Since you're trying to put pressure on this, you want to be solid. 2 point jump will give white some forcing moves locally, but I don't think it'll be a big deal. White nuking and ignoring again. I do not recommend this because as soon as black plays here and then here, you can see the left side is becoming very large and it's much more valuable than G3. So white does not understand that you do not leave weak groups behind. Black, however, chooses to just defend his points. That's reasonable. However, an attack would be more valuable. White now getting to this move and black jumping up. Since black is not completely alive, black only has 1 eye on the inside, I want to be more solid, so I think a 1 point jump would be better here. Remember, knight's moves are cuttable, and knight's moves are used for attacking, not defending. Here you want to defend, not attack. This is an attacking move, and it has cutting points, which white may take advantage of immediately. But no, white actually just peeps the cut and tries to get some influence on the outside. I don't think this is a good idea, since when you peep the cut, it's actually more valuable to play it like so, because you can reduce and push black down much further like this, locally. But I don't think this is a good move. I think it's good just to attack it directly like this. And this ladder should be good for black, or for white, sorry, for white. So white can actually cut immediately if he really wants to. So white actually forcing black to fix his weakness, and don't force your opponent to fix your weakness, guys, or fix their weakness, because then you lose the chance to take advantage of it. Now white trying to develop a center position, but remember the center is really small, so actually a move around here would be a little bit more valuable because your opponent has to live, and that means you get this area for free. Black has more points, so black can actually just break in the center and attack this stone like this pretty easily. However, black chooses to just reduce the center and now attack this group. Attacking this group's fine. A double honey would be a little bit more powerful here. And black will develop his own position in the center. And white says, no, I'm not going to let you. However, this stone is not going to be able to connect very easily. Black actually can go ahead and push this area on the bottom here, develop a position down here, and you can see this white stone is actually getting cut off very quickly. Or black can do something like this and make a very nice combination like so. So white being a little risky here. Maybe I don't like this move now. After reading it, I don't like that move. Maybe something like this is good enough. And this looks a little bit better. Anyway, some type of leaning attack here where you lean against this side to cut off this stone. And you can see this stone is actually going to be attacked. Black, however, just trying to attack directly like this. Little soft attack there, but still valuable. White trying to cut here, but white is the one who's weak everywhere, so white overplaying quite a bit here, and black will be able to take advantage of this. However, black does need to watch his eye space on the inside. As long as he lives on the inside, he is cutting white apart, so it's good for him. I don't really see... probably want to go ahead and get that, and maybe get some exchanges here, and then you can see black is practically alive on the inside. Now, once he's alive on the inside, maybe it's worth it to save these, but if these stones get caught off, I don't like it. So perhaps just jumping out here and giving up these stones locally is good enough. Because once you cut off this is much more valuable than these two stones. So I think it might be worth it just to cut off this and get your profit. Black, however, saying I'm going to save my cutting stone, which is normally a good strategy. However, this is getting weakened. Now he notices it, so now he jumps out and says, okay, I'll save those later, or I'll force him to take later, and I'm going to just get out and live, which is perfectly fine. Now he's actually getting out, living, and white is struggling to get back now. Black just defending. Don't worry about defending, Black. White's weak here, and you're pretty strong, so I think you can go ahead and push this area. and actually cut off these stones now and get your profit here, because white had a very loose connection. You could probably cut it. Now white's trying to live up here. White's still not connected down here, so let's see if black takes advantage of it, which he does not. He actually forces white to connect here, and then surrounds this group. Remember, the tiger's mouth is the vital point usually. The tiger's mouth is really good for making shape and taking shape, so this is definitely the one you want to go for. White now makes life in the corner. You want to connect here. The cut doesn't work since you can just play like this. If you play like this, though, white will get this free Atari, which he does, and this is a little bit slow since he's almost alive anyway. And now black comes up and starts reducing white and tries to play some endgame. However, there's still a lot of stuff right here. So I've noticed the big issue with these two players is neither one knows much about attack and defense. I think both players really lack that attack and defense. There is a cut here, however, black will be able to cut off these and survive pretty easily, or not. Try and make some shape here first. You want to really read this out first and then play something like this, and it's much better for you. Now you can see white doesn't have anything. So a little local reading here is problematic, and you can see white actually cut black off and black died when he shouldn't have. So that's sad. But now we'll see some basic in-game. But yeah, like the biggest issue, guys, is neither player really knows much about fighting, and that's pretty big issue actually. But oh, white actually completely misreading here and losing a lot of points. But black lost the left side. The left side's quite huge. You can't just give up a group so easily. Left side is worth defending. The left side's actually more valuable than the center. So black actually lost more than he gained back. So bad exchange there for black if he's going to die. Now trying to live. And it looks like he does. Wow. So white definitely needs to work. Oh, definitely needs to work on that life and death. Black saving half the group and keeping some points. So now black may still have a chance. I'm not sure who's ahead. Lost some points there. So very interesting. They're trying to play their own little Tsujis and stuff to do their own thing, but pretty much they're missing the major points, which was the fights. And let's go ahead and see the result. The result is white wins by 8.5. Well, yeah, the left side was quite huge. So I think the big issue is neither player knew what they were doing. White is making a lot of weak groups everywhere, and I think this is a habit because his opponents don't know how to punish him, and if his opponents don't know how to punish him, then he thinks it's a good thing, but actually it's a bad thing. Just because his opponents don't know how to punish him does not make his moves good. And in his mind, he will keep playing these bad moves for as long as they work. So unfortunately, he is just not playing strong enough opponents to realize that his moves are bad. So I do recommend maybe play a couple stronger opponents a week, as well as your own level, to just get the idea of, okay, what works and what doesn't, and get your games reviewed, because if you face stronger players, white, then your little tanukis and all your weak groups will come back to bite you very, very quickly. As for black, you got to learn to attack white's weakness. White had weakness everywhere, and unfortunately, you just didn't know how to attack, and neither player really could defend very properly. I think neither player really had a good grasp on what was weak and how to attack. And I think both players need to work on this, but really this comes from experience. You don't know something's weak until it dies over and over, right? Then you realize, oh, this shape can be attacked because I've died with this shape several times in previous games. So I think that both players probably need to get some teaching games each week just to see how easily their groups are attacked and how valuable those groups are when they die. Also, replay professional games, older Japanese games, to get some good shapes and professional games have really good attack and defense strategies. These will be very, very good for learning new ways to attack, new ways to make profit, and look how they do it and really analyze how they attack weakness. and then get some teaching games as well with stronger players, see how they attack your weakness, and then after the teaching game, also review it on your own when you get a chance. And really pay attention to how they punished your weakness, how they punished your overplays, and take that to heart, and then start applying that in your own games against your own level, and see about how you come up with attacking weakness, and how you come up with taking profit by attacking that weakness, and see if you can get a better eye for weakness. Because right now, the attack and defense is lacking for both players. In addition to that, the opening was kind of questionable for both players as well. Neither one really has a good grasp of how to make a good combination in the opening. But I think replaying professional games will also help with this, because if you replay professional games, they almost always have combinations, at least the older Japanese games. Nowadays, both players are preventing the combination, so it's really difficult to see what they're thinking if you don't already see the possible combinations from the get-go. Either way, I think replaying older Japanese games from like 40, 50 years ago will be helpful for the attack and defense and for the opening combinations for both players. Really pay that attention. If you want, you can actually review Japanese professional games from like 100 years ago, and most of them will be with a 3-4 point, but you can see the combinations they make are very, very valuable, especially as Black. Black, way back when, was really, really strong, especially before Komi, because Black was almost always winning, and White actually had to play very quickly because he didn't have Komi, and you can see White playing a very fast-paced game and Black playing a very solid game, and you can see the differences between both and how both players managed to make combinations even though both players are playing two different styles. So I think old Japanese games will be really beneficial for making combinations in the opening, and also pay attention to the attack and defense as well as getting teaching games, because both players really need to work on that attack and defense. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and hopefully you found it helpful and entertaining, and thanks for submitting the game. If you guys would like to submit your own game to get reviewed, please see the link in the description below. Please remember, guys, if people don't submit their games, then this series will get discontinued, so please keep submitting games, guys. Submit 1 or 2 a week, and it'll be a huge help to give me plenty of games to go over every single week. However, if people do not donate games, then this series will get discontinued. I think we're okay right now, but I think last week we got on a short supply of games left and almost ran out, but not quite. So thankfully, after asking in some videos, people did submit some more games, and we have plenty now for this week. But remember to keep that up, guys. If you don't keep it up, then we will run out of games, and I don't want to do that because I really think this is a good series. There's been a lot of good positive feedback about it, and hopefully you guys like it and are watching these and find these helpful. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and until the next video, until then, see you guys. Bye-bye.